Hello, listeners, and hello, my dearest Ayushi.
Hi, Tash. Hi, other babies. I'm
How's
saying
everyone
babies
today?
because today I'm fully feeling like a baby. I don't feel like an adult at
You
all.
are feeling? Why, baby? Why you are feeling, baby?
Because when I made today's Thursday. We're recording on a Thursday. Even we have an episode out today as well, but we're recording today, and I have made one adult mistake every single day this week.
Oh, babes, tell us.
So I've just not done well. I've woken up very, very late one day. I've gone with, met my friends and had drinks and stayed out late midweek, even though I know how badly that, like, how it ruins my next day.
So,
I
when was that day? Was that day today?
That was yesterday, and you were there, and you were part of the drinking. So, like, you're pretending like this is not also your
Listeners, I just have to say, I barely drink, but with Ayushi and red wine, it's just that the cup is never empty, and my bartender Ayushi is
because I'm
always
such
filling
a
me
good
up.
host. I'm just always like
Yeah,
topping people. I don't want you to notice that you had anything. Um,
literally.
and I haven't worked out this week
But
because
you know that we know is going to be changed soon because we're both going to be on a workout plan really soon.
yes, but yeah, I haven't felt at my level best as an
Best, I
adult.
understand.
Recently, I've even I had a bit of a meltdown at work yesterday where I had to go to the bathroom and, like, when you look in the mirror and you take many deep breaths to just like calm yourself down and be like, it's okay, we got this, it's fine, you do not fall apart, it's okay, are you sure we're all good, we got this, you are a boss
Same.
bitch.
Oh
And I
my
was like,
God.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. And at the same time, I'm patting myself, I'm like, yeah, we got this.
I got this.
And then you go out, and then you have to keep blowing your nose, being like, oh my god, I don't know what's happened, I have allergies. Because I'm
Like,
obviously all red in the face from.
did you cry?
I was so on the verge of it. Tears definitely were coming into my eyes when I was in the meeting because I was so upset. But I snuck out at the right time because you know me, and crying in front of people or is not even, first of all, it's not an option.
It's
It's not
not. It's
something that
not.
I don't like to do. It's not an option.
Yeah. It's something you would
So
never do.
yeah,
Fair.
so I had to quickly escape before. Yeah, so it's been a tough week. But we're here now. We've recorded 2 episodes this week. It's been great to have so much chat.
Yeah.
I hope everyone else who's listening is having a better week than I have, or you've made it through your week, which these days is just as good
Honestly,
as an
funny.
accomplishment.
That's all one can hope for because even I've just been dealing with this emotional turmoil that
Yeah.
comes with age 28, singlehood, and while work and my career is going really well and I feel accomplished in most parts of my life, the lack of exercise and this little bit of boy dramas really just pushed me down the edge. Off the cliff, I'm hanging now.
Natasha has said, what is there to do when you're in boy depression? You shop or you eat. And
No, I will tell you, though he had depression, ke
yeah.
carbs or online shopping. It was a joke, guys. I also go to therapy, you know that.
Yeah, but
But
she also shared all these outfits on the group chat of what she's
जो
been
मैं
buying.
कभी नहीं खरीदती, you know this, Ayushi. I'm not a big online shopper.
But you've got swimsuit, tracksuit, like all these millennial outfits.
Because
And
he needs to know what he's missing out on. Not
oh
really.
God,
Oh my God. We've gone
y-
there. No, we
you
haven't.
can't be this person. We
Retract.
we decided 2 years ago not to be that person.
You're right. We are evolving. This is adulthood. And we have to be mature enough to let go of things that are not meant for us. And while I know this in theory, it's hard to
It's
implement it
hard to
in real
practice.
life.
But I mean, isn't that can be said of anything that we've talked about? Like,
Yeah.
oftentimes when we wonder if the show is getting too preachy, we just look at each other and we're like, no, it's not, because we aren't 100% like living up to the advice that we would want to give. Like, we're also saying that we're
It's
on
so
this,
difficult.
we're
It's so
trying.
difficult. Yeah. I mean, it's so easy to say because in your head, you know so many things like, yeah, of course, you should behave a way and you should not feel that way. But if your heart feels the way it feels, it's just like going to take a little bit of
And
time
I
to catch up to your brain.
100%, and I also do just think that as women, it's harder. Like, I know, don't come for me. Don't attack me on the internet. Don't,
But
don't.
mostly, we don't know about
But
all
it is
women, but for
mostly.
most women, it is harder
It
than
is
for it is for
harder.
most men. Yeah.
because there's just I feel at every turn the odds are stacked against you in some way, shape, or form. And the minute you start chipping away at that, and you feel like, oh, you're accomplishing something, you're kind of rising, something happens that sets you back, and then you're like, my house of cards has just crumbled.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
But
in my
yeah.
entire relationship with crying also comes so much from not being perceived as a weak woman. I mean, that's my own issues, but so much of that comes from there. And not being able to be that person, and specifically when you work in such a male dominated industry, any sign of feminine, uh, quote unquote, weakness, or like emotion, or even intuition,
Any
sometimes it's
sign
like,
of being female in the female way
yeah,
is a
it's
bit much. Yeah.
it's hard. um
But anyway, we are surviving and dealing with it each day at a time because honestly, that I don't have an option or nobody has any other solutions.
What is the other option? Explain to me. We've discussed this in our darkest moments. What's the other option? Not living, which is not an option. So, because fundamentally, we love living. You're getting
Yeah.
this wrong. We love
Yeah.
living. I actually love life.
But it's
Knock
this
on
thing I
wood.
read yesterday, which my favorite Seth Godin has written, that you never really get rid of your problems. You're always just trading one set of problems in for another set of problems. So if we look at life as a series of that, maybe we can find solace in that thought.
I suppose. I suppose if you just accept that all, who said it? That your, my God, I keep wanting to say syphilis. That's not his name. What is that the Greek philosopher's name that you like?
That I like Seneca.
Seneca. I
Mhm.
thought syphilis.
But it is fire. It's syphilis, a Grecian name also.
I
Sisyphus. See, that's why you're confused with
Sisyphus.
syphilis.
I was thinking Sisyphus is always happy, right? Like, you have to kind of adopt that Sisyphean kind of thing of like, yeah, you're going to be pushing this thing up the mountain endlessly.
Right.
You just have to make your peace with it and find that acceptance and joy in doing that, what seems mundane or seems repetitive or seems frustrating in some shape or form. But on the topic of having women role models and struggling to be women and figuring out how to do it.
We have a real, legit, adult female guest today with us who has seen a lot more life than either Ayushi or I have and has a much richer experience of the adulthood journey. So, listeners, we're very, very, very happy to introduce you to Tanushri Podar, who's joining us today. Hello, Tanushri.
Hi, everybody.
Hi,
Hello.
Tanushree. Welcome to the show.
Happy to be here with you guys and to be narrating whatever little I know of life. And just now I was listening to you people and, talking about women and how difficult it is to be a woman in this world and survive. Well, I have survived it till now.
Yeah.
And that's saying a lot because I've gone through a whole lot of upheavals, so many lows and so many downs. But when I look back today, I find that I've really, really learned so much from them. And today I'm so much happier to be saying that, oh, great, those happened to me.
Yeah.
Because without them, I wouldn't have been what I am today. So that's my take on life. You just take what comes to you and just, like they say, if you get the lemons, make a lemonade out of it. So once you have learned to do that, I think you can deal with almost everything that comes to you.
I love it.
Absolutely. And it's good to know that it can happen. It's possible. It's possible to, have a fulfilling career. And though we should say, Dash, an introduction is necessary a little bit.
Absolutely. But Tanushri had such nice, wise words to say. That's why I
Yes.
didn't stop her.
No, no, of
But
course.
Tanushri, can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Well, as of now, I'm a retired army officer's wife. Once upon a time, I was a very active army wife, and I have seen so much of life. I guess not many people in my age bracket have also seen those kind of things. I've been to places which people haven't even heard of, and they're not even marked on maps sometimes. So it's
Wow.
been all a great experience, and of course I won't say they have all been very happy. They've been very stressful, There have been times when we cope with so much in our life, which is unimaginable to people who do not see army life.
Right.
Living with the fear of your loved ones not coming back, dealing with, separations, dealing with all the responsibilities that come with being an army wife. But then I was not always an army wife. I was as a growing child, I was, very interested in reading. And I guess that's what brought me today to this.
Yeah. Because now you're an author, and how cool is that?
And a celebrated multiple book published, very, very well read, famous author at that. You started with Army Wife, but I was gonna say, Tanushree, you're a like
Accomplished
an author. You're an
author,
author.
yeah.
Yes, I am an author, and I'm so happy because it was just a hobby which I took up because I couldn't, I mean, like basically, I'm a qualified HR person, and I worked for Larsen and Toubro for 8 long years before I.
Yeah. You had a full corporate life going on.
Absolutely. But then at one point in life, you realize that you got to make a choice. And you make the choice that may seem very difficult and unwieldy at that time. But eventually, you realize you made the right choice if you stick with it. Look, I feel that there's going to be, drawback in everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start weighing those, you'll never take a step forward. So, like I said, learn to deal with things, and they become so easy. And for me, it was like, when I gave up my job, everyone kept saying, "Oh, you're giving such a good job, forsaking it for the sake of joining a husband who's going to go to God-forsaken places."
So you quit your corporate job when you got married.
Absolutely.
Right.
And actually, when my daughter was born, I realized I had done the right thing because I wanted to be there. I wanted to enjoy life with them. I wanted to see the life that, army wives lead, not be
Yeah.
separated and be staying with the, just a single parent kind of a life.
Yeah.
So eventually it worked out for me. I wouldn't say it was so easy.
Tell us about the
Absolutely.
journey of converting your hobby into a full-fledged profession.
I always loved writing. I think even as a child, I started writing when I was about 10 or 11. Very, very,
That's very young.
it's just, one of those things like a diary and a little short story that you come up with. And I used to love writing plays and skits.
Hmm? How lovely.
And we used to perform them for our friends and, relatives in a
Of course.
stage. And that grew. And of course, I was a great storyteller. So I have 3 more siblings, and I was the eldest. So I still am the eldest. So it was, like my duty to amuse them when my parents wanted to go somewhere or take some time off. So I used
Cute.
to, concoct these stories which, fascinated them. And I like to move them to tears. So I would, sometimes tell them very sad stories, see them crying, and make it sadder and sadder, or frighten them and tell them scary stories. I love to see the emotions, and as to, sort of just innovate. And I think that sort of became an obsession with me because I started writing in a very, you know, serious manner. And then I think somewhere around teenage time and all that, I started writing for school magazines and college magazines, and then eventually for, a lot of publications in India, like Femina and Eve's Weekly used to be there.
Yeah, that's true.
I used to write regularly, for them, the short stories and humor pieces.
Cool. Oh.
But
And
I remember even as a kid, like reading those were where we got short stories and like periodicals that came, like even whether it was like Reader's Digest, Femina,
Correct. I was about to
all
say, yeah.
those magazines that used to come home. The
Yeah.
joy of that magazine was not even the fashion part of it. It was just these, at least for me, it was these stories that people like you used to actually
Real
write. And I guess
people. Yeah.
you didn't realize that there was a person behind that story who had a life and was an actual like full-fledged who was just making this up. For you as a young reader, you were just like, oh my god, it's a weekly story.
You'll be surprised to know that so many of those people who used to read my stories as children
Yeah.
reach out to me and say, "Ma'am, do we know you? Are you the same person who used to write for such and such magazine?"
Oh my god, that's so cute.
And it's so touching, and
Yeah.
come very close to me in some way, reading my stories or articles. And then from there, I started writing middles. I don't know whether you know about the middles that used to be there in the newspaper edit piece.
The middle spread, the middle page. Is that
Edit
it?
page. Yeah, in the center. It used to be
Nice.
known as the middle. So I think I have written hundreds of them for Times of India, Hindustan Times, you name it, and all Hindu, then Deccan Herald. I don't know which all, I don't even remember because there's a compilation of them in a book form also. So there's
No,
another.
one Google search by anyone will lead them to know that
Your
your page
articles,
goes
yeah.
like endlessly down. You're like, oh, it's here. There's some here. There's some here.
So you won't believe when we were posted to a place called Hatigarh, which is in Assam. Now that place, I don't think most of you would have heard of it.
No, we haven't.
It's really right in the wilderness. There is
Wow.
no market. Now, when you talk about malls and online shopping, there's nothing of the sort because there's not even internet.
Please forgive us.
Thank God you are not there right now, so otherwise you could not have joined us for this.
Absolutely.
So when were you all posted in Hathiganj?
Yeah, Hatigarh.
Hathigarh, sorry, my baddest.
Hatigarh. And there were
Hathigod.
huge mammoth elephants coming in from the Bhutan border.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I want to
how
go to this
lovely.
place
Yeah,
right away.
same.
No, you won't. You would be scared to death.
It's
Because
dangerous, na?
it is dangerous. And they used to come to raid the villages, the
Yeah.
paddy fields
Yeah.
during
Right.
the harvest time. And they would come in a huge group, not singly. And we had these houses which are known as bashas, which were, bamboo matting at the bottom only was cemented. And the rest was bamboo matting, which was so thin that you could, punch a hole through it. So there are so many interesting stories about
So
people.
you stayed there in that kind of housing situation for how long?
For about a year with my infant daughter. And my husband was packed off for a long army exercise. So there were these families, and there were some people left behind, and they used to, keep the headlights on and mashals. They used to go around with mashals because that scares the elephants. So they
Yeah.
come in herds, protecting the little ones in between, the males in front and the females at the back, kind of a thing. It's a regular parade. And
Wow.
they would just walk in through the villages and knock down houses, not willingly, but because they were so huge. So they would just, and these were mud houses and, those kind of structures. So we lived in those conditions, and where snakes would emerge from any little nook and cranny. I would often find one open a little cupboard or something, and there it would be. And once it was there on my ceiling, on the kitchen wall.
But your daughter was so interesting that she at such a young age had so much nature to experience.
She was an infant. She was just a few months old.
Then she
Just
didn't, I mean, you all moved out of there soon enough
yeah,
before
I
she
did.
could start playing with the snakes. Fair.
By the way, she's also a podcaster in HR matters.
How
So
cool.
clearly now you can tell her that
You're a
she's not
podcaster
the
too.
only one.
I will. Because even though she is an HR person and I used to be an HR person, she refuses absolutely to entertain my thoughts because she's saying, you are an outdated person now.
Well, the thing is, we're not going to comment on that because that happens routinely in our houses as well. So
Yes.
best that we don't get into the mother-daughter
Yes.
angle because we won't be on your team, unfortunately.
I know that. I know that for sure.
But so tell us in terms of, so you've had these experiences, you were posted in a lot of places with your husband, and that obviously is a clear reason for why you've written on, like all of your books have a kind of commonality of there's a theme, like it's definitely based on people who have been in the service in the military service sector, right? Because that's something that you've experienced. So your stories have a lot of basis in reality, as well as then you can imagine so much more vividly than anyone else. So did you ever feel like how much of your books are experiences that have actually happened? I guess what I'm asking is how much of your book is fiction and how much of it is actually 100% based on like experiences that people have had or that you've had yourself.
It's very interesting. I never started with the thought that I'll be writing about, army.
Right.
What happened is my husband is from the NDA, that is National Defense Academy.
Academy.
Yes.
And whenever they met, the course mates, they used to keep discussing about what happened. Are yaar, that happened, and then remember we went here and then we did this, and you remember that chick and this and that.
That chick, I want to know more about that.
Love it.
So I was very amused, the way they were excited, just like, teenagers, because that was, they went in as teenagers. They were 16 when they went in.
Yeah.
And men will get stuck in teenage years, it seems.
Yeah, I agree. So I decided to gift him a book, actually. So over the years, he used to narrate these episodes of what they did and what all fun they had.
Wow.
And I compiled it all, worked a little bit of my, imagination into it. And that's how Boots Bills Berries was born.
Amazing.
And it was one of the, it still is one of my most successful books.
Yeah.
Dozens of emails and DMs and whatnot telling me they have read this, they have been inspired to join the academy.
Wow.
And so many wannabes also write saying this book really inspired us. And that's how, my journey into the army fiction began.
And it's such a specific genre, actually,
Genre,
if you think
yeah.
about it. And it's very interesting because there's a whole bunch of people who can relate to it, like you, who are in the families of armed services, and then all the servicemen and women. But then there's also people who want to know what that life is like, because as a civilian, we just have such specific media built ideas of what servicemen's lives and servicewomen's lives are. So I should just say service people, like
People,
men and women.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What their life is, and even the allied services of even working, even if you're not like boots on the ground, there's so much more that goes into running a defense of a country, right? So you're so enamored by that idea, and when you start reading it, you're like, oh my god, this is actually like some wild stuff of army missions and going to places and the clashes and hiding, and even the small silly little stories that you're saying your husband and his course mates had. It's intriguing. It's a whole new it's this very specific new genre that you can kind of fall down deep into a rabbit hole.
When I began, I realized that we all have grown up with a very stereotype of image about a Colonel Saab wearing a golf cap and carrying a gun and taking it out every time his daughter brings a man home. And
yes, that's so true.
In a certain manner, behaving in a certain manner, and he'll always have a mush and always be carrying a scotch bottle or something like that. So those
this is Bollywood Uncle Colonel Saab.
It's a Rupate. No, that's a different song. There's a Major Saab film. No, Amitabh Bachchan has become, and everyone thinks he's only the epitome of.
Yeah, correct.
He's so
Anyway.
old in it. A major is never so old.
Tanushree, you're a debunk myths. I love it. I'm here for this.
So basically, I would suggest they consult someone who knows a little about the army before they attempt making anything on it. But coming back to my book, I always find that people are so, misled by, these images. And also, there are a lot of people writing military fiction, but all of them are about bravery and, heroism. And my point was, these are the same youngsters who join the army and all. They're like normal people. They have the same ambitions, desires, and cravings. They're not different. No one goes into war feeling very great and brave.
They're scared.
Yeah, they are scared just as you and me. They also face, terror. They also face sadness, and so I wanted to bring the human being in them in my books, and my books talk about the normal human being behind that image. So that's what I think worked for people, because these were mischievous young boys who got into the academy, went through torturous regimen, and yet survived because they had so much mischief and full of energy and life and vibrancy, that they could deal with everything. And it's the camaraderie that they had which helped them survive. And in fact, the same thing is echoed in this latest book, which is The Girls in Green,
Hmm.
Yeah.
in which it is the girls doing the same thing.
I was
Right.
about to ask because you spoke so much about the mischief of the young men, and of course, that is expected. That's what we've seen. All the greatest war films about men who are heroes and they're having their bro time and fighting and all of that, being brave.
Max testosterone.
Right. And it's great for me to watch. Don't get me wrong. I love atonement. Love to see
Why don't you
James
think a little bit
McAvoy.
closer home to
Vicky
Beta
Kaushal in
Vicky?
Uri. I haven't watched it yet, sadly.
Neither, but I don't want to watch it because I don't want to ruin my image of anything. I'm gonna say this. I definitely see the appeal of a man in uniform.
Man in uniform. Hello. Hello.
And
I'm sure.
I know that it's something that's socialized into you, or maybe it's a media. I fully accept all those things. Again, don't come after me for saying this, but there is something about a man in uniform. And we'll tell you some interesting story that happened to us recently, but we take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Yeah, because I want to know more about women in the army. Also.
Yes.
Hello, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Sorry, I've just attacked them as soon as they've come in the news.
But actually, I was gonna tell Tanushree just this silly, just to make you laugh in terms of the silliness of what we sometimes do. So we like to go cycling on Sundays in
Oh
Bombay.
yeah, that's true.
We go cycling a lot, and in lockdown, it's been just so nice to be able to get out on a Sunday morning, spend 2 hours cycling, have a coffee, come back. And one of our favorite routes is to go through Navy Nagar, which for our listeners who don't live in Bombay is the naval the naval base camp headquarters out of Bombay. So it's at one end of the city, and it's a massive sort of like cantonment area. But you can cycle through some parts of it that are not cordoned off to civilians, obviously. And every time we go through it, we always see young, I guess I don't want to
Strapping
say,
young men in
yeah, I don't want to say
uniform.
sailors because they're not sailors, but obviously
But it's
they're
that
all
kind of
associated with the Navy.
stereotype.
Right. In their crisp white, shirt, the white pant,
Sailors
with the-
that port ready.
ev-
Why am I going there? You she.
and so often when we're cycling, there's these 3 girls who are in gym clothes with helmets on their heads, looking like children, cycling
like,
through the naval.
Hey, Captain.
I'm not kidding. There have been times when we've been like, I have to raise my hand. I am saluting every person who's going past me. And the idea is just so, I don't know, it gets you a little flustered and fluttered, like, oh, it's a man in uniform.
Turned on is the word you're looking for, Ayushi.
I was trying to be polite.
Flustered and fluttered. We get it.
Yeah. So I wonder whether the girls in the army, and from your perspective, the story, it doesn't
what's
have
the
so
real
much of that,
deal
right? What's the
of
real
women?
deal?
How are the women in the army? What's the training for them? What are their lives like? You must have met many.
I did meet quite a few because I took a couple of trips to the OTA at night just to know about them. Went through, spoke to a lot of instructors and the students and trainees and others, so that I get a full-fledged picture of the
Yeah,
whole
absolutely.
situation. Well, the girls are not as young as NDA boys because they generally graduate and then they join OTA, and either they are engineers or doctor, even legal people are there. So but it's the same regimen. It is the same kind of a strict training, and it really is sapping. At the same time, it's like a co-ed school.
Okay.
Have meant to enjoy a bit of your because they don't have any spare time.
I'm
So
so excited for this new book only because we can watch what's going on in the lives of young army cadets.
So they actually speaking, they don't have any time for romance as such because they're so hard pressed for time and they're always tired. They're like, always wanting to catch up with the sleep. And yet you can't deny the hormones, can you? So
Life finds a way to persist through all, I think, worst difficulties. Like when you read about so many different, like war-torn countries, like places of abject poverty, places where there's so much upheaval, or somehow some sense of normalcy between young, like teenagers or young people or young
The
lovers.
hormones are keeping it normal.
They,
For as
it
the
brings
hormones are
some
just
beauty.
there. Yeah, it is. It's so true what you said.
I
uh,
like that.
so what I have done is I've put in a little bit of romance to pepper up the whole story.
Yeah.
So there are these four girls. One of them is a real drama queen, and she's joined the institute, the academy, to find someone suitable. That was her objective.
That's so clever. She's like perfect. If she wants the particular kind of man, she's gone to look for him. I like her. I like
It
her.
me.
It me also. Should I join now?
It
It's too
was
late, Ayushi.
that day when we were cycling, it says young officers mess and young officers, like the
I
building
will
where
make
they
a mess
stay.
with you. Let's get messy.
Ananya's like, this is your favorite building, right, on the route? Because I'm always like, hello, any young men?
She's cycling. She's riding the bike, but she's thinking about riding something else.
Stop it now. These are men who serve the country. You will not say these things.
Okay,
But
so
anyway, the
Tanushree,
book.
back to you.
The
Yeah.
The young women in the book. My God, made a fool of myself. Tanushree, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. So
Yeah, sorry, you can continue.
you can
Tell
continue.
us about the
Please
girls.
speak over us.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are these four girls who are very different. They're from different states, and one is a footballer who's like from Haryana, and one is a very brilliant engineer. She joins the academy because her fiance has joined, and she thinks she'll be close to him, but of course they aren't. There's no time, and all they can do is sometimes steal a few minutes in a cafe, and that too they're in competition with each other because everyone is trying to excel and everyone is trying to beat the other in performance, and she leaps ahead of him, so he resents it, and so there is a friction. And the third one is a girl from Shillong, the first Khasi girl to enter the academy. She's a delicate,
Amazing.
nice looking person with the flair for music. She plays the guitar and she's like, a mountaineer. And she is a she's a law graduate. So she joins. And the last one, the drama queen is Nutan, who's known as Nutty, and she's really really nutty, so they call her donut and things like that, saying you have a hole where your brain should be, kind of a thing. And she's forever getting into mischief and getting caught. You can get into mischief, but you should be clever enough not to get caught, but she keeps getting
Important adulthood lesson, huh? Mischief karo, but don't get caught.
absolutely. And because there's no fun in life without mischief. You have
Yeah,
to be
fair.
intelligent enough not to get caught. So
I have a question, Tanushree, and I don't know if we are allowed to say this on air, but they can edit it out later. But we know that this has already been acquired to turn into a show.
Yes.
So, are we allowed
you,
to talk about that or no?
yes, why not?
you can, because it's on the cover of the book. Like it says it in when you
Right.
go on Amazon to pre-order it, it tells you that it's going to be a show. So I think
Okay.
this will make for great content.
This is where
Um,
I just slide in and tell you I need to audition for one of these girls' roles. Tanushree, I'm a fabulous actor. You have to
have-
tell them to
you have
cast
done
me.
this. How can you turn this episode into a casting request?
Chance pe dance.
In fact, I have no control over it. I don't know what's happening.
Okay, we'll talk offline. I'll pick your brain and
Sure,
and
sure, sure.
we'll
Jalasmi,
figure out a way.
Jalasmi, please keep
I'll
this in.
act a spy and try to ferret out information.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Jalasmi, you will keep this entire section of the show because people should know that Ritasha, anywhere she goes, she's just looking for roles.
Asking for roles.
She's asking anyone. But I do want to, obviously, all the jokes aside, I do want to ask you more on a serious note. Like, you talked about your life as an army wife, and that is a commitment that so many women have made, and it is a sacrifice of so many women and men, obviously, both, partners, army partners, I guess you should say, have made. And it's a sacrifice in terms of moving long periods where they maybe you're not in communication, they can't be in communication. Like you said, there's a fear that they might not come home. And unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, India is in a geographical location where our border has always been contentious on all sides. Like, we've always had, as long as we've known, our military history is fraught with a lot of these skirmishes and battles and things like that. So do you feel, were there times where you were like actually really, really scared? How did you manage? How did you raise children knowing that, maybe their dad, there's that whole, like, how do you have that conversation? How do you deal with it? And there is a part of us that romanticizes the service and being like, oh, you're doing it for your country, you're doing it for your nation. So it's the ultimate sacrifice and honor. But there's so much that is unsaid about the people that they leave at home, the family that gets left behind. So can you tell us more about that? I just am interested to know.
I always say that half the credit for a war won should go to the wives.
Yeah.
Because for the simple reason that a man who has troubles on his mind will not be able to dedicate himself to the nation.
Yeah.
And it's our duty to keep those troubles away, put a smiling face in front of him, tell him everything is under control, no matter what's happening. Now, from my personal life, I can tell you that I was in Bangalore that time with two kids and two very different ages, because there's a 12-year gap between the two of them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So one was in the kindergarten and the other was like, entering the teens. So, and, they had two sets of problems. The younger one used to always fall sick and I had to manage her. The elder one had her own little problems, how the teens are. So I was dealing with everything. And then there was this fear because I was living in a colony where they were all separated wives. We call them separated quarters. And every second day we would hear of some casualty, some fatality, or something which, brought the danger so much closer to us.
Where was your husband posted at this time, if I may
He was
ask?
in the valley. He was in the Kashmir Valley.
Jesus.
And
Both hard.
बहुत hard because there were no mobiles. We had to wait for that one odd, landline call, which would occur or not occur. Those are the days when you had to book a trunk call and wait for it. And then it would get disrupted suddenly and, there would be something. So you could only communicate once in a blue moon and you had to laugh. You had to smile. You had to say everything is fine. So it was a very difficult time. And then the worst was when, the helper once came to Bangalore and he told me Saab has had a miraculous, escape. So he narrated to me how two bullets had gone through his jacket without touching him. So they went just past him. And I was like shocked. My husband never told me because he just like I didn't want to scare him or put tension on his mind. He didn't want to do that either. So had the helper not told me, I would never have known. But then that's how close you are to danger and fear. So if when I tell you that I've gone through a lot in life and I've learned to deal with it, it is just these little incidents which make you stronger, make you realize that yes, human beings do have the capacity to, handle most things.
I want to know from you, Tanushri, what was your journey with your mental and emotional well-being through all of these years? Because I'm assuming your kids were still growing up and you're probably in those days you were at your can you just tell us what age group you were in so I can because I'm guessing you were in a stage of adulthood which is still
Yeah, I was in my 30s.
figuring it out, right?
You were in
Yeah.
your 30s?
Exactly. I had a feeling. I was like, you must have been in your 30s. No, so
I'm going to be 13 next year.
oh
No,
my
no,
god, to
I
deal
wasn't
with so
30.
many
I was in
things.
30s, late 30s.
Ah,
Fair,
right.
fair.
But still,
Yeah.
A lot
that's
of life to
young.
handle, yeah.
But you know something, I was also working as a journalist that time with Magna.
Right.
So
Okay.
I had the professional commitments, I had the family commitments. So it was like a tough balancing act.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I think somehow human beings have this innate strength, and God comes across as a very helpful being that time. I really
Aishi.
think there's a universal energy which helps you cope with all this. You just have to call out and have faith. And it is your faith at that time that works well for you. Nothing else can help you. But having said that, let me say one more thing, that these days you hear so much about the emotional and mental,
Well-being.
factors, especially after COVID, you realize. We've gone through it, but we really didn't take it in that manner. We took it in our stride. Perhaps it has to do a lot with the stress we face today.
Yeah.
I don't know. We face stress, but we had a different way of channeling that stress. We could handle it. We knew there are no easy ways to live in the world. There aren't. Anyone who tells you that there are any easy way is fooling you. So,
And that has been the biggest scam I feel of our
Life.
generation. Yeah.
Yes.
yeah,
Because our generation is so used to, we're so used to quick results of everything. Everything is so like instantaneous for us that when it's not, we
It's such a
immediately
tough
can't
pill to
handle it.
swallow that life is not gonna be easy all the time or
that's the truth.
seldom.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Besides, one more thing that one has to realize is that nothing is easy in this world. There are no quick solutions. Everyone has to go through it in a long winded manner. And, it has to take its own time. Like I said, there are only three factors that contribute to success. One is your humility. Humility is so essential. People do not realize that today. Maybe, youngsters will realize when you are older, but being humble is the greatest qualification of a human being. Compassion, humility, and perseverance. These are the only three things that work. You may try your best to do anything, but if you don't have these three factors, you'll never be really successful in your life. I don't know. I think I've been very preachy. Sorry for that.
Not at all. We love it when a real adult comes and tells us that, pull your
It
shit
kind of
together.
reaffirms because Ayushi and I talk to each other all the time. We talk to fellow young people all the time. And to have you come here and say these things, and it really just it feels good to hear it again because deep down, of course, we also know these things. These are
Yeah, we
lessons we've been
do.
taught, but the implementation of it, the active reminding of oneself, um, and it's easy to get lost in this world of youth, internet, and the crazy,
Social
crazy
media has
world
done
we're
so
living in right
has
now.
done so
Yeah.
much damage to us in terms of what we see as success and what we see as a timeline for success. Actually,
Yeah.
that's kind
Yeah.
of what's messed us up.
When I read about the people who get frustrated because their friends are doing so well, they see people going on holidays and see the pictures posted on social media. I really
Attacked.
find it so shallow and hollow because it really doesn't matter. You'll get it all. You'll get what you deserve. See, in Hindi, there is a little phrase that I don't know whether you've said,
बताइए.
heard. Um, uh, समय से पहले और किस्मत
Or
से ज्यादा
yes.
कभी
Kiss.
किसी को कुछ नहीं मिलता.
Beautiful. I
So
love this one. Yeah.
yeah, because I live by that. And the other factor that has made me, help me is this too shall pass. These are two things I abide by.
And so again, I hope I'm not bringing up any like bad memories for you in any way, but recently there was that Kargil, it was Kargil Remembrance Day. So was that something that was like does your husband still carry um I don't know, I wouldn't want to say PTSD, but some sort of, stress or grief or memories or hardships? And do you guys still talk about that? Are you also connected to your army life in any way?
Uh, Actually, Ayushi, we do talk, but we talk more about the bungling up, which can be solved diplomatically. We
Right,
feel that no one should have to go for war. No
right.
one should go for war. No lives should be put at stake. If you can
That's true.
solve it peacefully. Because battles and wars have historically not proved
Anything.
good or beneficial to anyone.
Yeah.
So we talk in those ways because we have seen what kind of things they.
Yeah.
So, and also now I concentrate on my writing, and it's not just the military books that I write.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Shifting.
I want to also ask you, after being apart and not living with your husband for long periods of time when you were in your 30s and earlier on, to now when you both live together and your kids are grown up, and how has your relationship evolved? How has your marriage evolved in the last couple of years?
I must tell you this. It's a very funny story. When I was working in Magna and he was in the valley, so I used to get these letters. He used to write every day, literally, but they used to take time coming. So what he would do is cut long strips of paper, stick them in a long, mile-long thing, and write all over. So, when the letter would come, my colleagues would say, "Oh, no, your letter has come." And they would have to hold the letter from one end to the other of the hall so I could go around reading it. It was, I think,
That's too romantic. I can't handle it.
it's one of
I'm
the
gonna
most,
cry
Cry.
again.
and we still have those letters. We sit down and read them. And it's unbelievable the kind of closeness it brings to you. So, you can live through everything if you have the, love and hope of your loved one.
Love and hope, guys. And faith. Gotta have faith, faith, faith. Okay, yeah.
But so you guys are obviously, I'm sure, like to follow on Natasha's question is just you must really enjoy having this time now. Because you can
Yeah.
all it's like a new chapter. You get to define how it's gonna be. It's on your terms. And you have your second or third innings now, actually.
Amazing.
See, I was a travel writer. I don't know whether you are aware of it. And I used to get invited by these various tourism boards all over the world.
Right.
So I have traveled to about 40 odd countries across all the continents. At one stage of time, and he would always be waiting for me to come back and narrate the little stories, share the pictures, and tell him all about it. Then one day I decided I won't torture him anymore. I will travel only when we can travel together. And I gave up my travel writing. I stopped accepting all the offers. And now we travel only together. Of course, COVID has put an end to
Yeah.
traveling for us.
Yeah.
But we have grown much closer now than I could ever have imagined.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so
Thank you
much for
so
talking
much
to us.
for-
I just want to ask you a last few thoughts before we wrap
Yeah.
up. Ayushi, hope you don't mind.
What? I was hoping that we'll get one more story or something out of this.
So, Tanushree, I'm going to ask you at the end of many episodes, we do adulthood tips or the top takeaways for our young listeners who,
She's giving
like
us
us,
the 3
are
tips.
I know, but I want to ask on few other.
Ah.
I'm gonna throw words at you, Tanushree, and you give your 2 cents on those various topics.
It's
Okay?
a fun game.
Yeah, it's a little game segment. First word, discipline.
Is
And
the
these are all in context to adulthood, of course. Just-
anchor to success.
Oh, damn it.
Ayushi, you go next.
Duty.
Duty never to be ignored.
I
Okay.
needed to hear that today, actually.
Patience.
It is the hallmark of wisdom.
Who
are you?
You are the hallmark.
You are
Tanushree, you are the hallmark.
I feel like every sentence is like a new fortune cookie. Like it's just one more amazing thing.
This is why it's nice to have
Okay, we'll
writers on the
end-
show.
We'll
Yeah.
end. I'll ask the last one. Love.
Yes, I knew it.
The word is love.
Love is what makes the world go around.
Yeah,
It lifts
it
you,
is.
and it just makes you complete and a whole.
Oh. This Sunday, I will be
Okay.
100% going back to the naval yard. I'm just kidding. But this was, thank you so much. Thank you so much for
That's
taking the
such a
time to
wonderful
speak to
time.
us.
Yeah.
Thank
Um,
Ayushi and Ritasha. I'm so
Yes.
happy to be here and to be speaking to you both. I really enjoyed every moment of it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
We
And
did
thank you to
too.
Bye-bye.
you. No, wait 1 second. You
Okay.
said
Wait.
we want to say more thank you.
You have a book coming out, and we have to
Yes,
tell our
but
listeners about that also.
before the book, I do want to say thank you to
Yeah.
you and your husband for your service to our
Yes.
country. It
Thank
is,
you so much.
you both gave your lives to it, and I think that's amazing. Thank you.
Commendable. Yeah.
Yes. And now, because this is your third job in life, you have a book coming out, and I think you have 2 books coming out, right? Actually,
Books coming out.
oh, you have 3 books coming out, Natasha. We
Are you
thought it was
sure?
just
What's
2.
going on? Yeah. You are a machine, Tanushree.
No, it's the COVID.
It's the
While
COVID.
everyone was moping, I was keeping myself busy. Right.
Amazing.
So they're all three
Great.
different genre. This is a military one, The Girls in Green. There is
Right.
spooky stories, a collection of
Yes.
stories, spooky stories. And the third one is a murder mystery, Agatha Christie style, which is known
Oh,
as
nice.
An Invitation to Die. It is the third in a series of Colonel Acharya.
Yes. I've seen the Colonel Acharya. I didn't know that it was a series, but
I am excited.
that's amazing. And we'll link all of that. If people want to reach out to you on social media, is there any way they can
Where
find
can
you?
they find you? Yes.
They can search for me on Instagram at Podar Tanushri. They
Okay.
can look for me at Twitter at Tanushri Podar. Please
Okay.
get the spelling right. It is TAN.
We will type it.
Yes. And on Facebook also, I am there. So a lot of people follow me. You are definitely welcome.
I'm going to like now. I'm going to do it right now.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
But thank you
Thank
so much for
you.
coming on. Have a lovely evening. And I hope we get to speak to you soon.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.